Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. Today, we're at Brazil, Interlagos, for the season finale. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as drivers are making their way out onto the grid, getting things loaded. But it's championship night, ladies and gentlemen, as we got a special graphic pulled up, Duel in the Favela. A graphic provided by Mr. Finley Fitzsimmons himself. It's Gibson versus Fitzsimmons in this final round. In order for Fitzsimmons to win the championship, he needs to get pole in this race, which he has done so far. He needs to win with the fastest lap in the feature, and that will put him on equal footing if Gibson finishes second in this main event. There's a whole lot of ifs and maybes. So let's see how this championship will be decided here today. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on as we roll through the grid. Starting on pole, Bentley Fitzsimmons. Reed Gibson starting second. Micah Barnett starts third. Justin Sang starting fourth. Jack Mundy starting fifth. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting sixth. Raymond Aguilar coming out of retirement. He's starting seventh. Jared Davis, a newcomer, starts eighth. Jared Ziegler starting ninth. Antonio Bianchi starts 10th. John Kasai starting 11th. Jake Duckwall starting 12th. Cycling it on back to Michael Fairchild starting 13th. Peter Rettinger starts 14th. Max Wobble starting 15th. Ryan Tebow starts 16th. Felipe Ramos starting 17th. Xavier Zanave starts 18th. Norman King starting 19th. Blaine Sparling starting 20th. And Ricardo Espino will round out the 21-car grid here today. My apologies to the fans at home. I am battling a bit of a cold up here in the broadcast booth, so you may hear me go radio silent every now and then. But the lights go off here at Interlagos, so away we go for the final feature event of the season. Bentley Fitzsimmons going to lead the field, but here comes Reed Gibson early up the inside line, trying to take over the lead for the young British driver. But there's contact between Fitzsimmons and Gibson. Gibson is off track. The championship leader is going to have quite a battle here now today. Fitzsimmons holding on to the race lead. He's got Micah Barnett in tow. Just behind, you can see Mundy, Sang, McAllister, all in the fray. Sang picks up a position up into third. Edging out Jack Mundy's number 2 machine. Gareth McAllister rounding out the top 5. Oh, and that was Jack Mundy getting absolutely obliterated there. Comes to a stop, but a heavy hit for the other young British driver. He takes a tow back to pit road. Let's get that replay queued up, because that was an absolute violent crash. Keep an eye on the number 2 machine. Gets pinched off by the 68. Tries to slow down. No luck there, and Mundy is done and out, because again, if you take a tow here at League 0, you are out for that event. We got Alex Penn join us on the spectator side of the broadcast. And what are the championship implications of Gibson involved in that contact with Mundy? With Fitzsimmons. While we've got time up front, let's take a look and see what happened to points leader Reed Gibson. He works the the inside line against Fitzsimmons. Tries to cut back over. Oh, and he lost it all on his own there. I would have called that originally as contact between the championship leader and his close rival Fitzsimmons, but it was a solo car incident for Gibson. Now, as we covered at the beginning of the broadcast, Fitzsimmons needs to have the fastest lap of the race, and he needs to bring home a win with Gibson in second to tie up the championship going to the sprint race. Gibson currently 15th, just outside the points. The top 12 score points. So Fitzsimmons has got to be feeling the pressure here. 26 laps to go total here at Interlagos for this season finale feature event. And let's pan back to Gibson. He's cutting through the field, has just made his way around Felipe Ramos in the 73. About 4/10 back and closing fast on Bianchi's number 17 machine. Mundy joining us in the spectator area as well, as things are starting to get exciting up front. Micah Barnett, the pass for the lead, throws it away in the first turn. Fitzsimmons takes back over the position. Sang moves up to second. Raymond Aguilar out of retirement up into third here. And Aguilar has just set the fastest lap of the race on 129.12. Aguilar not originally slated to drive today, serving as a fill-in driver, and showing he still has the pace in that number 72 machine to run up towards the pointy end of the podium. Now, while this race has been going on, Fitzsimmons has been able to pull about a 1.9 second gap over Justin Sang, who sits currently in second. As we watch Sang, Aguilar, McAllister, second through fourth here, continuing to do battle as they slow the pace. That may allow Fitzsimmons an even bigger opportunity to stretch his legs up towards the front. A little bit further back, looks like Jared Ziegler's going to take over the top 5 spot ahead of Micah Barnett. Oh, but we got a battle for second shaping up. Raymond Aguilar is keeping the pressure on Sang 68. Fitzsimmons with a very quick 128.5. As Sang and Aguilar absolutely going at it here in second. Aguilar cycles his way up to second. Sang and McAllister fight for third. Oh, McAllister gets into the back of Sang and collects Jared Ziegler as well. McAllister, who is running up in podium position, falls way on back to 12th, just behind Ziegler in 57. I'm wondering if either driver has any sort of damage, as now here comes Antonio Bianchi. He looks much faster than the two in front of him. And Felipe Ramos also getting in the mix as well. The field's starting to stretch out slightly until you go back up to around that 5th through 8th place position. We're focused in on Max Wobbles, the number 13 machine. He is up 9 positions. As Fitzsimmons, your race leader, continues getting faster and faster, a 128.26 his last time by. Look at this, Wobbles in the draft of Duckwall's 99. Duckwall defends, holding on to 5th. As Wobbles keeps the pressure, but has to be careful. He's accumulated at least a few license points this season. Last thing he wants to do is find himself in an incident that possibly put him on probation, especially in the final round of the season. And who do we have cutting through traffic? None other than Reed Gibson's number 11 has pushed back all the way up into 9th, and he is hot on the heels of newcomer Jared Davis.
Hello, Micah. Great race out there. So I had a couple of questions for you after your P3 finish. First one is, what happened coming out of that last corner? Were you just trying to put Finley and Reed closer together for this final race?
No, I cut it a little close on fuel. I had problems early in the race. I decided tonight to not let crew chief fuel me because I always finish the race with too much fuel, and it looks like I was about, I don't know, a tenth of a gallon, maybe 2/10 short. I put in 1.9 and started sputtering in the last corner there. So, um, yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Okay. So, so what? Now that you have that pit stop out of the way, and you don't have to worry about that anymore, is this going to be an all-out push here in the sprint race, or are you going to dial it back and maybe watch the carnage in front of you as we make our way through the final race this season?
yeah, I probably am going to take it a little bit easier. I don't really have anything to gain or lose, and I don't really want to be involved in whatever's going on with Reed and Finley if they're battling. So, I'm going to certainly try to make my way forward, but it's so easy to die in the sprint races that my goal is to just basically, try and move up as much as I can without any real drama. So we'll see.
All right. Well, good luck in the sprint race, and hopefully we can see you back here in the for another interview.
I appreciate it.
Hello, Reed Gibson. Congratulations on the second place finish there.
Yeah, thank
Um, so now that you're in the lead by 1 point coming into this sprint race, what is your mindset coming into this race? Are you going to just give it an all-out push and get in front of Finley and try and hold it there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna do race car stuff, I guess. Try not to get sent to the Shadow Realm again.
That that seems like a pretty good way to do it. So should things go right here in this final race, what is the first thing you're gonna do to celebrate?
I don't know. I mean, it's a Thursday night and I gotta go to work early tomorrow, but maybe I'll have a couple beers to celebrate and hang out with the rest of the Scuderia Chicken House gang and celebrate a good season. We've all been practicing real hard together and racing real hard together and having a great time. So we're all just looking to celebrate, and I think team runners up is probably going to be runners up no matter what. So we're pretty happy with that already.
Alrighty. Well, good luck in the sprint race, and hopefully we can see you back in here after that.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you, Alex.
Hello, Finley Fitzsimmons, the race winner here for the first race of the night.
Yeah, hi.
So you're down in this championship by 1 point heading into the sprint race. What's going through your head right now?
Obviously, that means that I've got to beat Reed by 2 positions, because if I beat him by 1, that means we'll be equal on points and Reed is the tiebreaker. So, yeah, it all goes down to the sprint race. It's the jewel in the favela. Yeah, it'll be an epic race, but yeah, I definitely think we'll be fine. Absolutely everything.
So are you going to be pushing all out and just trying to get every spot you can, or do you think you're gonna, try and watch the carnage in front of you and maybe pick up the fastest lap for an extra point there at the end?
Finishing is the most important thing, because if you don't finish, you don't get any points, and I'm out of
Of
it.
course.
So my eyes are just gone, finishing the first lap, not getting involved in any incidents, and then thinking from then forward, and hopefully getting ahead of Reed.
All right. Well, good luck to you here in the sprint race, and hopefully we can see you back in here.
Thank you, Alex.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back for the sprint race here at Interlagos in Brazil. Finley Fitzsimmons is going to be trailing by 1 point heading into this sprint race, and he's going to do everything he can to gain these positions over Reed Gibson. And they are going to be starting side by side in P11 and 12 following the reverse grid. So just like they did in the feature race where they started side by side for first and second, they're going to get another shot at it, and Reed Gibson is going to do everything he can to keep his car in front of Finley Fitzsimmons. As we are sitting here on the grid, and we're going to get ready to go green. The red lights are on. And it is lights out, and away we go. As all the drivers are making a scramble to try and get every position they have. They only have half the time here as they did in the feature race. As Fitzsimmons is holding first, as multiple cars are off track through turn 1. But Felipe Ramos is going to get away with the lead. Fitzsimmons pulls himself in front of Gibson as multiple drivers in the back continue to find themselves off track and spinning out. As we're going to go 3 wide, multiple rows deep, coming into the whatever corner this might be. Fitzsimmons is going to find himself in a pack. He looks to be boxed in. He's going to make a look to the outside of Micah Barnett and isn't quite able to get there. Reed Gibson just 2 spots back behind Fitzsimmons, and that is going to put Fitzsimmons into the lead here for the championship. If he can hold this gap between him and Reed Gibson, he will win this championship, and just by 1 point. But Gibson closes that gap just by 1 car. So Reed Gibson here, he has the tiebreaker over Fitzsimmons, and so should they finish 1-2 or anything, if they finish right next to each other, it will go to Gibson, and Finley will fall short through the tiebreaker as they make their way down the front stretch for the second time, completing the first lap here, and they'll make their way into turn 1. Felipe Ramos is holding that first place position as Finley Fitzsimmons is gonna look to the inside of Raymond Aguilar. Couldn't quite make it happen though. He'll file in right behind him once again as they make their way through the first set of corners. Fitzsimmons now going to look to the outside as they make their way down the long straight. He's going to have a little bit of help from Micah Barnett, and he'll get pulled along with the draft just a little bit, and he'll make that pass almost stick. He'll make it happen around the outside as the corner finishes off though. He's now got that 2-car gap that he needs once again. The more he can get, the better, as he's now in the hunt for Micah Barnett, the same guy who just helped him down the second straightaway, giving him the extra help to get by Raymond Aguilar. But he's now going to look to the outside of Antonio Bianchi, and he'll make that pass stick. He's now up by 2 spots over Reed Gibson. But he's not gonna let off the gas. He's gonna keep hunting for every position he can get as he moves into second. As we might have lost the car here, as he's now going to be hunting for the lead, as Gibson is going to be trying to get that 3rd spot from Raymond Aguilar. Ramos running the fastest lap of the race, but then Reed Gibson takes it right back. If Reed gets that fastest lap, Finley will have to beat him by 3 spots, excuse me, instead of just that regular 2. So Fitzsimmons right now needs to get that fastest lap back, or he needs somebody else to take it from Gibson. Jack Mundy going side by side back behind Reed Gibson to try and get that position over Antonio Bianchi. Looks like he'll make that happen as they go side by side once again out of the 3rd straight here on the track. They're gonna stay side by side. Jack Mundy on the outside. Reed Gibson on the outside will fall behind Raymond Aguilar as he steals the final podium position from from Gibson. Gibson doing everything he can to try and get these positions back, because if somebody takes that fastest lap, he'll lose that bonus point, and he'll lose at this point in time, he will lose the championship to Fitzsimmons. As Fitzsimmons is going to do everything he can to try and take the lead from Felipe Ramos here. He'll have the draft down the front straight, and now he's got the inside line. It's going to be the preferred line coming into this first section of corners as we hit the 4th lap out of the 13 that we have here tonight for the sprint race. Fitzsimmons is going to go to the inside, and he'll make that pass happen as Raymond Aguilar is able to defend from Reed Gibson and not let him by as he slides a little bit almost off track, but Gibson's going to make a look to the outside now as they head down the second straight here in Brazil. Gibson was able to make that pass happen, and he's going to get it. Oh my. Raymond Aguilar just sends it in on Gibson, and now Jack Mundy's going to look to the inside of Gibson to see if he can make that pass as well. He'll make another look to the inside. He's not quite close enough to make it happen yet, though. But Mundy gets blocked off a little bit by Gibson. He's going to look again to the inside, now to the outside, and isn't quite able to hold it as Antonio Bianchi is going to throw his hat in the ring and try and steal the 5th position from Jack Mundy as he looks to get a good run coming out of this right-hander. Not quite enough to put himself in position for a pass, though, as they're going to make their way through the final set of 2 corners here in Interlagos. And Antonio Bianchi has fallen away from Jack Mundy and isn't going to be able to hold on to that 5th place fight. Gibson is now in the draft of Raymond Aguilar, doing everything he can to try and get that spot back from him and get himself back into that podium position and keep himself in the championship fight. But Gibson will make it happen around on the inside through turn 1, and that's it's only 2 positions between him and Fitzsimmons again. And with the bonus point for fastest lap, that'll put Gibson on top of the tiebreaker. Mundy's going to have to defend from Raymond Aguilar now, as Aguilar's going to make a look to the inside. Jack Mundy goes a little bit off track, and he's able to hang on just barely, and there's a netcode between the two. Jack Mundy goes flying for the 2nd time this evening as he gets launched into the air, and they make contact again. That is going to spell the end for both of the drivers as we take a look at a replay here between Raymond Aguilar and Jack Mundy coming out of this left-hander, and there's space between the 2 of them, and it's just enough to give it netcode and send Jack Mundy flying through the air for 2nd time tonight. As Gibson has now moved himself up to the 2nd position and right behind Finley Fitzsimmons, and if Finley cannot get this fastest lap, he's going to have to push for it. He will not get this championship, and Reed Gibson will win by 1 point. And there it is. Finley Fitzsimmons with the fastest lap of the race, with 1:28.037, with Gibson a full 10th behind him that lap. So that means Finley's going to also be able to open up that gap just a little bit more this lap, as he cannot let Gibson in front of him. If he does, then that'll just immediately spell the end for his championship hopes. Gibson, and we're gonna take a look here at the battle for 3rd. That would be John Kasai and Felipe Ramos, as Kasai has made his way up. He's moved up a couple of spots here in the sprint race. I believe starting from somewhere around 6th or 7th, and he's going to make a look to the outside, but he's just too far back. He cannot get alongside Felipe from that far back. But now he's going to have a run here coming out of the left-hander. He's going to use that draft to his advantage as they make their way into the final set of left-handers here at Interlagos. And still not quite close enough, but he might be able to get a good run on the front straight here as we make our way towards the 7th lap of the race. Just past our halfway point. He's going to get this run. He's going to stay behind, tuck in, and get a big draft. He's going to look to the outside as Felipe Ramos is going to cover off the inside and make it just that much harder for Kasai to make a move on him and get himself into that third position. As it seems to have worked. No, Felipe Ramos with a big lockup, and that's going to put John Kasai right into that third position, who's now going to hunt down Reed Gibson, as we have a three-way battle here for the third place, which will be Kasai, Bianchi, and McAllister, the world famous Australian. Now that Jared Siegler has looped it down the straight, he'll find himself back in the race though. Let's see what happened here. Looks like he just kind of bounced off to the side and looked like he took himself out. But that'll allow Gareth McAllister, the world famous Australian, into the fight, as he'll recover that 5th place position from Ziegler. Gareth McAllister with a good run through that right-hander, as he'll close the gap to Kasai. And he'll get a good run down this front straight once again. There's a huge amount of draft that these drivers can get. Apparently they updated the draft parameters, and now they can get draft from over a second behind, but that just means from this close it's going to be that much more powerful. As you see McAllister starting to close in, he's falling out of the draft just a little bit, but he's now going to make a half look to the outside and cut back to the inside, and he's now side by side with John Kasai, and they're about to go 3 wide through turn 1. As Kasai filters in behind the two, McAllister now on the outside of Bianchi. He's going to lose that fight, but he makes his way back to the inside once again, and he'll make it pass on both of them through that first complex corner. Fantastic move by McAllister. He's going to put himself and Finley Fitzsimmons in a good spot for the team championship, as he concedes the spot back to Antonio Bianchi, who just outbreaks McAllister coming into the 4th corner. McAllister isn't going to give up that easily, though. He's going to stay right on the rear bumper of Bianchi, and he's going to make a look to the outside. No, far to the inside, as he tries to cut the corner just a little bit to gain a small advantage, but wasn't quite enough, as Antonio goes off track into the grass, and that's going to put Gareth McAllister right back in the fight, as he has a small lockup and loses every advantage that he had just gained, as it looks like Jake Duckwall might have had a former issue. Let's take a look at what happened. Looks like he got hit by the 27 and was able to stop it pretty quickly, and gets himself back going once again. Take a look back at the battle for 3rd place, as Antonio Bianchi is going to defend from the inside. McAllister looks to the outside, can't quite keep himself alongside there, and he's going to have to filter in. And now John Kasai has moved up right behind Gareth McAllister. He's going to have a good run down this straight, as it's the 2nd longest straight here on the track. He's going to make a look to the inside, but lost all his momentum, as I think he broke a little bit loose, and that'll allow Gareth McAllister to hold his position easily for the 4th place, and as he can now direct his sights back in front of him and try and run down Antonio once again. Looks like Antonio might have ran just a little bit wide. That's going to give a little bit of time back to McAllister, but he's still got a long way to go. He might wait for the front straight and just get as close as he can possibly get and try and get that move once again through turn 1. It's clearly becoming a favorite for these drivers for the best passing zone on the circuit, as you just get a fantastic run coming out of the last corner with the draft. But it looks like McAllister is going to have to defend once again against John Kasai, who's going to make a look to the outside as McAllister covers off the inside, and they are going to get completely side by side. But it looks like Kasai is going to have a little bit of a help from Antonio as he gets the draft. They're going to stay side by side, though. McAllister makes the pass back on the outside, after losing a good amount of ground through the first corner, he's able to hold his momentum up and get back past Kasai through the second corner. Davis is now going to make a look to the inside of Kasai and try and capitalize on that mistake as he locks up the rear brakes and almost loses his back end out into Kasai, but he'll make the move work anyways. Kasai, looks like the two of them might be teammates possibly, so they might work together a little bit and try and catch back up to McAllister. But that move through the fourth corner is definitely not going to help them in that endeavor, as McAllister is going to run away from them and try and hunt down Bianchi. Got a good chunk of distance to make up, though. It seems to be opening as time goes on, but now maybe that McAllister doesn't have anything to worry about behind him. He can just work on what's happening in front. And Fitzsimmons sets the fastest lap again with a 127.98, just making it that's just going to make it that much harder for Gibson to catch back up and try and steal those those extra bonus points. And Bianchi is still doing everything he can to run away from McAllister. It looks like he's starting to open that gap up once again. So without having to worry about any sort of defense, McAllister might not be able to catch up to Bianchi. As we take a look back at the battle between Kasai and Davis, they are nose to tail. Doesn't look like either of them has quite gone for a move just yet. But it looks like a huge slide from Davis through the right-hander, but he's able to catch it. And he's able to try and gather. He was able to gather himself up and try and get back on the hunt towards Kasai. He's take a look back at McAllister, who is closing that gap once again. He might have a good draft here down the front straight. As you can see, that gap slowly closing in between McAllister and Bianchi, as Bianchi makes a couple of zigzag snake-like moves to try and break that draft from McAllister. But a great braking zone from McAllister helps him close that gap just that much more as they make their way through the first set of corners. Now the second straight, Gareth McAllister follows Bianchi's zigzags once again, just doing everything he can to stay in that extremely powerful draft. These aren't crazy high power cars, so that the draft will do so much more in these cars, even with the medium amount of downforce that they really have. It's because low power and not a lot of car will just pull you that much more than it would between two fast cars. McAllister closes that gap just to a small amount, and he's going to continue hunting and try and find a move. Maybe he'll make it happen through, once again, this favorited spot down the front straight, as we have the white flag is out for Fitzsimmons as he makes his way through the first couple of corners. But McAllister is going to do what he can to try and get past Bianchi here. It's a big straight. He's got a long time to sit in that draft, but I don't think he's going to catch him in time for turn one to try and make a move. He's going to need a good run out of these first set of corners. And if he wants any sort of chances, we see Bianchi blink a couple of times. He's back, and McAllister's just going to keep his foot on the pedal. Even though he can't see where Bianchi is, he's not going to give Bianchi any chance to gain any sort of time over him. As McAllister is going to look for everything he can to try and make a move, although he can't look for much with Bianchi disappearing in front of him. But Fitzsimmons is going to make his way through the last set of corners as he almost seals the deal. And McAllister is going to look right behind Bianchi. Couldn't quite get there to try and make a move on him. It just wasn't enough. But Fitzsimmons will take the checkered flag, and it's a question of, is it enough over Reed Gibson? Is Fitzsimmons going to take the championship here? We're gonna have to take a look at the standings at some point, and we'll see where it finishes up. But Bianchi is going to be able to hold off McAllister for the final position on the podium. Gareth McAllister picks up fourth, with John Kasai picking up rounding out the top five, as we also see him spinning out a little bit as a little bit of a celebration for the end of the season. Congratulations to all these drivers for sticking it out right to the end and being able to put on such a good show for me and James up in the broadcast booth tonight. But we'll have to see where this championship ends up here. And for good evening, Antonio, and congratulations on the third place finish. A fantastic battle between you and Gareth. What was going through your head as you were trying to hold off McAllister?
Yeah, it's lots of fun there. I mean, me, John, and Gareth were battling there for majority of the beginning of the race there, and eventually me and Gareth ended up breaking away. And you know what? It was pretty close. I had to break drafts quite a bit to make sure I actually ensured getting the victory over him. I contemplated actually letting him by to see if I could just get the draft down the last corner because it's so strong. But yeah, you know what? It was lots of fun. We raced each other pretty clean. And had a fun time. Respect to Gareth, that was a lot of fun. Shout out to John too. That was lots of fun.
Yeah, it was a definitely a great battle to watch. You have any sponsors that you would like to thank here tonight after your podium finish?
You know what? With the season wrapping up, I should probably give a big shout out because I didn't expect I'd be on the podium in the final race, so I better use this while I can to thank everyone while we're on broadcast. But I just wanted to say shout out to everybody who showed up this season. It was a great season. Big congratulations, I guess, to Finley and Reed there. That was honestly a great battle for the championship. That was by far our closest one yet, separated by 1 point. Finley ended up getting them, but yeah, no, and shout out to anybody who donated this year. Really helped us out. I know we got Propane Depot, we got MSR Performance, we got so many. Honestly, I can't even remember. But here, the Team Goon Squad, Utopian Organics, Critical Video, Unified Commerce Company, all you guys, huge shout out, and shout out to James as well as you, Alex, for the help here in the broadcast. We've really appreciated it. So thanks everybody, and shout out Garrett's grandma. You're the best. You watch every race. We love you.
We do love her indeed. And congratulations again on the third place finish here tonight, Antonio.
Appreciate it.
Reed Gibson, second place in the championship and second place on track here tonight. What's going through your head right now?
Should probably change my team name for next year and manifest doing better.
Well,
But no, it's all good. It was a good race. Didn't go my way. Didn't get the luck I needed, but that's racing sometimes. So good time overall.
I mean, the two of you definitely put on a good show tonight, and I mean, congratulations for the incredible battle throughout the entire season, and to see it come down this close at the end is something special. Do you have any sponsors that you would like to thank tonight after this long and exciting season?
I mean, the only sponsor I have to thank is my own wallet, but I will throw a shout out to all of the Scuderia Chicken House guys. We had a couple teams, and everyone was at different levels of competitiveness, but we were all working together, having fun, and we enjoyed the season. And hopefully, we'll be back next year if timing works out.
All right, congratulations once again for the incredible season.
Yeah, and thank you guys for putting on the event. You guys ran a great league with really fun broadcasts. It was very enjoyable to take part in.
And finally, for tonight, your race winner and champion of the League Zero season here, Finley Fitzsimmons. What's going on in your head right now?
Can't fucking believe it, Alex. I can't believe it.
I mean, you put on a perfect race or perfect night here, getting the fastest lap in the sprint race to give you that 1 point advantage over Reed, and putting you in that champion position. What's the first thing you're gonna do to celebrate?
We're popping the champagne. We're having 3 cans of Copperberg. But most of all, I want to thank him, of course, because without him, I wouldn't have had such a tense and such a fun battle throughout the season. It kept it fun all the way through, and I'd like to thank you. Yeah, thank you to him the most for making this, the best ever season I've ever raced in, really.
And as champion, who would you like to thank for this season?
As I've already said, Reed mostly, but also massive thank you to Gareth. I know we weren't, I quite believe, able to get the team championship here tonight, but the drivers is really where it counts, and that's where we're able to do it today. Thanks to all the league owners, of course, Antonio for running the league, all the stewards. They put on a brilliant show every single week, day in, day out, and yeah, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have this league we were racing in.
All right, and congratulations again on the championship, Finley.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight for this for my first broadcast in an emergency, and I hope you all enjoyed watching this fantastic fight for the championship.